Ahava blessings and welcome again to the temple, Voices from Eden. And today I will be talking about Saturn and the power of manifestation. And these little videos that you will find on my channel on astrology are just short little videos to help you and to guide you with your, not just the natal chart and the information in your natal chart, but how to work with these forces, how to work with the planets, with the stars, with the moon, and with the zodiacal archetypes using a certain type of technology. And the day I'm actually recording this video is when Mercury goes into Pisces, March 15th, 2021. But the information I'm delivering is infinite. It has no time span. So you can use it this year, you can use it 5 years later. And I really wanted to share this information on Saturn for manifestation, because I think that manifestation is a very, very powerful desire, sacred desire that we all have right now. And not just because we're going in this, passing this moment where we really want to manifest our true desires and our soul desires, don't we? Our soul contract, but just because everything really is manifestation at the end of the day. And sometimes we think that we're not great manifestors, but everything that is around us, whether we like it or not, we have manifested. So we actually are very great manifestors. It just depends on what type of manifestation we want to deliver in our lives and here in this present moment. So I just want to talk a little bit about Saturn today and the importance of Saturn when we work with manifestation, and just talking about the planet and how to work with the planet as a vibration, as a co-creation, and as a technology as well. You will find with this video a short little yoga set that is actually inspired by Saturn. And if you don't see it, it's because I haven't published it yet, and it will come out, but you will find it, okay? Now, let me tell you a little bit about the mythology of Saturn. Now, remember that Saturn is Kronos and Jupiter is Zeus. Okay, so Uranus and Gaia were married and they were having a beautiful love affair, of course. Uranus, the sky, Gaia, the earth. Uranus, heaven, Gaia, earth. And they were procreating. And the first beings that Gaia gave birth to were the Titans. And Uranus didn't like them. He thought that they were really ugly. So he pushed them back into Gaia's womb. And anytime Gaia would give birth, he would say, no, I don't like them. And he would push them back into her womb because he wanted to rule everything. And these Titans were very big. So in one of these moments where they would meet to procreate, Gaia spoke to Kronos and said, I want you to castrate your father, Uranus, when he comes and makes love to me. And that's what Kronos did. Inside of her womb space, he came, made love to Gaia, and Kronos castrated his father. So he was no longer able to procreate with Gaia, and Kronos was allowed to be birthed. And so he became the ruler of what was known as the Golden Age. Yeah. So everything repeats itself, right? So Kronos and his beautiful wife, Rhea, the same thing was happening. She would be giving birth to these beautiful children, and he was so scared of somebody overpowering him that he would eat his own children. And in one of these moments where Kronos wasn't really aware of what was going on, she saved Zeus, Jupiter, and she actually put him in a cave, and she fed him, and he grew up. And what did he do? He overthrew his father, Kronos, and he set up the new pantheon in Mount Olympus. Now, I love this myth because when Kronos comes in and is birthed because he castrates his father, this in the mythology represents the separation of earth and the heaven. And because of his birth, we are given time and we are given mortality. Okay? And that's when we get to Saturn, because Saturn is chronos. Saturn is time. Saturn is mortality. And Saturn is everything that is involved in the physical world. Saturn is the doorway to manifestation. Saturn is the power of manifestation. Anything that is in the earthly realm is Saturn. Okay, so Saturn is earthly realm manifestation and the deliverance of our soul contract here on earth. So let's talk a little bit about what this means, okay? Because this is this very powerful archetype, a very powerful vibration, and it's important information. So Saturn is a realist. Saturn doesn't believe in affirmations. Saturn doesn't believe in sometimes even new age philosophy that we may like. Saturn doesn't believe in any of that. Saturn only believes in how you can push away and liberate yourself from programming and certain type of karma to be able to deliver your soul contract and deliver the manifestation that you want to bring into this world. So Saturn works with magic, and magic is a child of mysticism. Magic is not a child of the wounded ego. Okay, so when we work with magic, when we do a ritual or we do an affirmation, Saturn asks us all the time, are you doing this through the child of mysticism because you know that you are here to serve through your manifestation? Or are you doing this because of the wounded ego? You want to have certain desires, you want to bring certain things into the world, but you can't because I'm not going to let you. That's what Saturn does. So let's talk about this in a practical way. Anything that we want to manifest in the earthly realm needs to pass through Saturn. It has to go through Saturn. And so a lot of times we feel that we have blocks in certain types of manifestation, whether it be a relationship, but I'm dealing more with the material realm, but also relationships because they are the material realm, but a lot of things in the material realm, like a marriage, something that you sign, a house, a business, a child. Saturn wants us to get rid of programs. Okay. And what type of programs are these? These are programs that are given to us by society. These are programs that are given to us by karma, the karmic wheel. And all of this influences us when we want to manifest something. So when we work with Saturn, Saturn only asks for one thing. He asks for discipline. He asks for structure. And he asks, well, I say he because it's an authority energy, but it's actually a feminine planet, okay? But I'm going to use he because the energy is very masculine. It's very authoritative. It's the disciplinarian. So sometimes we don't like Saturn. We don't like Saturn because we think Saturn is restrictive. We think Saturn is going to punish us. We categorize Saturn as the father of patriarchy. But this is all a shadow aspect of Saturn. And the reason why I think this is so important that I'm delivering this information to you is because I've been working with Saturn for many years. And Saturn for me has been my biggest darkest night of the soul, many dark nights of the soul, but has helped me so much to remove so many obstacles in my life so I can manifest and understand what manifestation means and understand the laws behind the magic of manifestation, how to really bring in spirit or anything that is not in this dimension and bring it down into this dimension. I really connect Saturn, the energy of Saturn, with the Aleph, and the Aleph would be the first letter of the Aramaic alphabet, the Hebrew one as well. And it's all about bringing something from a different dimension, spirit, and bringing it into matter. But what happens when we do this? If there is a block, it either won't come through, it will come through halfway, or it would actually come through with our own karma and programs. So we just keep repeating the manifestation pattern of things that we haven't cleared out. So, Saturn likes discipline, and the best type of discipline is when we learn to show up for ourselves. This is the discipline that Saturn wants for us to become responsible for all that we have created and the experiences we have created. For us to be responsible enough to see our shadows and see what needs to be cleared out. Just say, yes, I own this. This is mine. Yes, this is part of my family lineage. This is part of who I am. I'm going to work with it. Saturn doesn't want us to shove it away. Saturn doesn't want us to hide this under the carpet. Saturn really wants us to work with what we have created and co-created during many lifetimes and what we have chosen as a soul contract to be in our programming. So when we work with Saturn, this is a very, very powerful energy. Like I said, the first thing we need to do is connect with discipline. And how can I show up for myself every day? For me, that discipline has to do with my practice, my sadhana. But for all of you, it can take a different form. And how do you show up for yourselves? How do you create a space that is sacred and routine? Saturn needs an anchoring in the earth realm as a routine. If you're going to chant every day, you chant at the same time and you create a grid and you plug into that grid. If you're going to do a ritual, you do that ritual once a week or every day and you plug into that grid and give that grid a meaning. So when we do certain things like this and anchor them in this dimension, Saturn becomes really happy. And Saturn says, okay, now you understand what it means to work with the earth. Now you understand what it means to work with time, to repeat. What does repetition mean? Is it just boring repetition, or is the repetition that has an intention behind it? You know, a lot of time we don't want to work with Kronos. We want to work with Kairos, which is the circular time. And I work with circular time. I love it. I mean, I believe that we move in spirals. I work with the cycles, but you need to understand that within that circular time, we need to incorporate the Kronos. The Kronos has to come in, because through the Kronos, I almost see this linear time as a vaginal canal. Through the Kronos, we can bring in all of the manifestation that we need to bring in. So that is one of the important things that Saturn likes: responsibility, discipline, very important, and a sacred routine. Now, when we connect with a sacred routine, we're not just connecting with Capricorn, which is the planet, I mean, the zodiacal archetype connected to Saturn, but we're also connecting with Virgo, because Virgo really likes the day-to-day routines that we do to plant the seeds of what tomorrow will be. At the end of the day, Saturn just wants us to be divine humans and to manifest our true potential. So, responsibility, discipline, routine, and structure. Are we creating a container that is strong enough to hold everything that we want to manifest? Are we? What would that container look like in our lives? You know, lots of times, in my experience, that container has been an emotional container. Are my emotions strong enough? Am I emotionally strong enough to handle something that I want to manifest? Because if I'm not, I won't be able to manifest it. This is how Saturn works. Now, when we work with Saturn, Saturn is very connected to the moon, and Saturn is very connected with Neptune. Okay. Now, the moon, even though a lot of people say that Saturn is the soul incarnated, it is. But more than that, it's more the moon. The moon is a soul incarnated in the karmic wheel, right? So within that karmic wheel, the more you honor the phases of the moon and the more you do your ceremony, or you align with certain teachings that you want to receive and transmissions during the cycles of the moon, the more your soul starts to understand the healing that she needs to do. Okay, so this is what the moon does. We have the soul incarnated here, and that's what the archetype of Cancer does, represents the incarnated soul. So we come here, we work with these karmic cycles to release, to go into the void, and then to expand again. Release, go into the void, expand again. So we have a powerful opportunity every 28 days to go into a releasing, a healing, and the void. this is the purpose of the moon. It's very, very important because the soul seeks healing. That's what she wants to do. So the more we start to do this soul healing, Saturn removes the influence he has on the moon, because Saturn really influences the moon a lot. That's why it's called a malefic planet, but it's not a bad planet. It's just that if you have programs or karma that you have not released or looked at, more than release, I would say look at and work with, Saturn will push the moon to repeat these karmic cycles within us. Now, the more we do this soul healing, the more we do this clearing out, the more we connect with discipline and we create certain anchors in the physical realm. Saturn really likes that, to see those physical anchors. The more Saturn will start to release its ties and possession on the moon. And when this happens, the moon connects with Neptune. And Neptune is the soul that isn't in the body. And your soul in the body remembers what it feels like not to be in a body. And when this happens, we start to remember the soul contract. So then Saturn, what Saturn does is he starts to help us in the deliverance of this soul contract. And I'm calling it soul contract, but anything that your soul really desires, and of course, in the frequency of love, to bring into this world. I mean, even if it's in the material realm, Saturn does represent everything earth, okay? I mean, when we think of money, we connect more with Venus and Taurus, but Venus is more abundance, the flow of money and the flow of abundance, that vibration within our life. But money and sustaining money is Saturn. Being able to sustain a house, being able to sustain your lifestyle, that is all Saturn. What type of lifestyle do you want? What type of business do you want to birth into this world? All of that is Saturn. And Saturn actually teaches us that manifestation and knowing how to manifest is magic. Remember, I said magic is a child of mysticism, which means that when we create magic, we align with the creative potential of the divine and the human. Okay, so magic isn't, it's something that we create as a partnership with the divine. Whereas magic isn't based on the wounded ego. The wounded ego will always want something that we don't have, because the wounded ego thinks that we're not enough. But the magician doesn't think that. The magician thinks, okay, I want this and I want to manifest it and I'm going to bring it in. What do I need to do to manifest this? I need to create a certain anchoring. I need to create a discipline. I need to put an intention behind this, and then I will bring it in. And I need to learn what I need to release from my baggage, from my programming, and from my karma to be able to bring this in. And I love working with Saturn. Okay, so Saturn does represent our individual karma. Remember, Capricorn being governed by Saturn represents individual karma. Cancer as a sign represents the familial karma, and Scorpio, collective karma. So these three vibrations deal with karma, but Saturn deals with that part of karma that you need to tend to, that is yours. And even if we receive it from our family, what are you doing with it? Are you working with it? Are you going beyond the duality of this karma? Are you understanding it? And at the end of the day, everything is karma, in the light and the shadow. But what is the karma that is creating an obstacle for you to bring something into this world? And so this is Saturn. Saturn is the earthly realm. Saturn wants us to see things as they are in reality and not in fantasy and not in imagination. So, thank you for listening to this little video. And like I said, my intention for these videos is that we all learn together how to use this technology in the Aquarian age, because this is the language of Aquarius astrology. And I think for me, it's a science and an art, a technology and an art. And it's a science when we know the information, and it's an art when we know how to use the technology. So to begin working with Saturn, what I highly recommend is to go into the body first, to really, really start anchoring our energy in the body, because there is nothing more powerful for manifestation than Saturn. Okay, so we go into the body, very important, and even start working the body, feeling the bones, very connected to Saturn. And like I said, there's a little practice that I've shared, and if you don't see it, it will be up, okay? Because this little series on astrology is new, and if you're watching this in 221, of course, and maybe start practicing that every day. Go out in nature, walk in nature, breathe in nature, and start to develop a little routine that you do every day that you anchor in your earthly realm every day at the same time. Start doing that, even if it's 5 minutes. Sometimes I put my alarm on to work with Saturn and say, okay, this time I'm doing this, just because I do like to anchor those little routines that are actually a sacred geometry that we're not even aware of, that we are creating and co-creating with Saturn. And Saturn loves that. And Saturn sees that. And just start working with this and know that manifestation is magic. It really is. And when we truly start to manifest what we desire, high frequency, of course, we will start to understand the magic of manifestation. There's no theory or algorithm or equation. It's just your understanding, your mystical contract with what magic is when we work with Saturn. So thank you so much. And if you want to watch more videos on this astrology, remember that my channel is both Spanish and English. Okay, so just make sure that you click the right one. And I hope that by the time you are watching these videos, I will have everything so organized that you will know where you can go. My mind works very quickly sometimes, and I love creation, and I've made a lot of videos, and I just have to organize them so they will be very easier for you to watch. And all of the information of my website and the online school and retreats and things like that, you'll find in the feed below. And just thank you so much. And I hope that you and Saturn have a beautiful relationship. Ahava.